All right, I guess we're hanging out tonight, guys. That's what we're doing. Put you up there. Nobody move. Don't go anywhere. I'll bring you up here. To text my buddy Mark back because he's upset with me. Not that upset. Anyway, let's have a look here. Let's bring you up, see who's here, see who's hanging out. David, James, Larry, and Dude West. All right. All right. David, James, Larry, and Ronnie Buck. Why is it chilly down here? It's chilly down here. Oh. Just do a little cleanup here. There's really nothing going. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. So, tools news. Let's see, where are we at? I've got hundreds of rods, literally, but I only have 3 of the smaller rods, so that's my limiting factor on selling tools. But if anybody wants tools, let me know. I literally will have a whole pile of those coming in the next week or so. So I will basically have good stock going forward. You're gonna be doing more. I haven't even done the taxes yet. I know I got to do that. I have to tally up all the tools, and then I got to friggin' report that stuff. So, so I got to do all that for taxes. I know I have to do that. Am I doing something more interesting? I did. I sent Eric Briggs the air horn for the 394. He may get that designed. It's possible. If he can get that designed, then we can get that printed, and then those will be available for sale, which would be awesome. What else? I had an email today, and I forget who it was from. Forgive me. Uh, but it was one of those, like, it's just one of those things that's just amusing to me because the email was like, "Hey Matt, I'm interested in buying your tools. Let me know what they do." That type of email. Like, okay, I guess somebody just wants to buy tools because they're mine, or I don't know. I don't know what the deal was. I'm still not feeling good. I still thought that was funny. Okay, well, I guess I'll explain what they do, but whatever. Hey, everyone. Yeah, I just thought that was hilarious. Like, I want to buy your tools. What do they do? You know, it was that. It wasn't. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but okay. I don't know who that was. I forget. I could look up the email, but I love it. I really do. This is funny. I've had other emails like that from different people. It was like John Deere guy or whatever it was. I think it was him from Arborist site emailed me and just wanted the tools just because he liked tools. He did. He was fairly indifferent as to what they did. He was just like new and nifty tools that somebody developed. He's like, I want them. I'm like, okay. Some people like to spend money too. Yeah, there's that. There's definitely that. I like to spend money. Usually end up randomly on eBay buying stuff, but a lot of the stuff that I buy on eBay, of course, you guys find out about because I'm putting it together here. Um, hey Barry. So just that was such a funny email this morning. Made my day. Made my day. So I don't think he's bought a set yet, but whatever. I sent him in the form letter. Yes, muffler bearings, very important. Yeah, who doesn't love spending money? It's like, oh, I got a few bucks in my account. I guess I got to spend it. Well, I got to shuffle all that money to my machinist because he's the one doing all the work on all these silly rods and whatnot. So I got to make sure he is covered, and then I can share all these tools with people. Tools almost that much, yeah. And there's definitely some tools that I don't have that I could stand to have. Like a tack. I don't have a tack. Um, I could certainly stand to have a tack. I'm just not in a hurry to get one. Whatever. You guys see me struggling like ring compressors. That would be kind of nice to have. But honestly, I don't know how many more saws I'm intending on putting together. So do I really need them? Not really. Like a radiator for a bug. I know, air cooled. Funny. Uh, Actually, the funny thing, my buddy had an '87 911, and air cooled, and I listened to it. I'm like, it sounds like a bug. They sound the same. PA Dan, what's going on? 14 people here hanging out. This is cool. Um, just want to let you guys. I'm still not feeling great. I'm working. Work today. Pretty solid day today, plus minus. I had a pretty packed day Tuesday. Tomorrow's kind of I think. But I'm working 8 to 7 tomorrow. And then I'm off Friday. But I got tons of stuff to do on Friday, and I just keep doing stuff. The 394, of course, is waiting on the 3D printed air horn, which would be awesome. Taxes, oh yeah. We don't do the Nuvo because have radiators. Taxes, should you pull my hair out, dude? Or Bob, just earn more money, and then you can make the problem go away. Simple. Make more money. I did, occasionally I'm picking up stuff on eBay. So things like M5 washers, stainless washers. I get them monsterbolts.com. Well, they an eBay store. The Monster Bolts is an eBay store, and actually they do a pretty nice job, to be honest. So I got some M4 washers, some M5 washers. If you want M5 washers, you don't want to run out of stuff. Speaking of buying things, so that goes about M5 and M4. Tuck those up there that we don't lose them. Well, yeah, you're right. I got to get back with the vitamin D. I did have some. I got to get more, but I will start hitting that. Yeah, Bob, you just got to keep throwing money at the problem, obviously, right? So what's everybody doing? You guys got any projects? Anybody have any projects? Any questions, comments, anything? Oh, just brutal. Sorry. This is just awful. Ugh. At least it's moving. I'm getting this stuff out of me instead of last week I was plugged. It was awful. Surgery tomorrow for James. Ugh. Well, I guess that's one step closer to recovery, James. Right? You gotta have the surgery. Dude, West, have I ever worked on any job search? No. More or less, no. The effectively a lot of the Huskies I work on are the same thing. So 372s are there's a very similar Johnson Red model line. I think the only difference sometimes is like the air filter or whatever, but and the plastics. But effectively, it's the same saw. Um, but like the older Johnson Reds, no, I have not specifically worked on. Still working on the 394 big bore build. Okay. Keep working. Um, but Larry, you did get the intake horn, right? You got it. We're good. We're good. We're clear. It looked good. It wasn't broken or busted or nothing. Roadrunner, nothing. Much cleaning of aluminum rims. Okay. What are you cleaning them with? Gavin, not much going through. Gavin, am I contagious? I hope I didn't give you anything. Oh, Larry hasn't showed up yet? Okay. It should be there pretty soon. It went out Monday. Barry, 288 XP on the bench, 359 and 372 project. Those are nice projects. Very nice. You know what? If I have a 372 in front of me and a 272, I'll usually, if I'm going to go, cutting with my dad, I'll grab the 272. I will. My 272, my hand tends to go towards it rather than my 372. I don't know why. On paper, the 372 is a better saw. It just is, you know. But my hand tends to grab the 272, and I can't exactly explain why. I haven't used the 288 enough to be like, oh, my hand will go to that thing. I can tell you that my favorite still is the 394, but I still find myself grabbing this Chinese 660. I think part of me has a sense of I don't mind wearing out the Chinese 660 because who cares, you know. What is my favorite wood to cut? Probably maple. If you give me green maple, beautiful, cuts like butter, love it. Ronnie says my 272 is hard to start. What do you mean hard to start? Hard to pull over, or it takes a lot of pulls to get it started? Barry, it's the intake block bias. Matt, yeah, maybe. Who knows? Dude West working on a Johnson at 2255 and an 029 Super. The 2255. What equivalent is that in the Husky? Dude West. Kev Barry's on. Hey Kev, serious flooding up north of Queensland. Serious holiday a couple of weeks. Watch out for the crocs and the snakes in the water. Yeah, nice. Ugh. Ronnie, it's hard to pull over. Larry, you're not allowed to come here and cut down my cherry trees. No, you can't do that. I don't care how tasty that wood is to your chainsaws. No. Um, red oak is good to cut too. There's no question about it. I do like bucking up red oak, but if I had to choose, give me a 12-inch diameter piece of maple, a nice big heavy branch. Zip 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 zip. Beautiful. Love that. So the 455 Rancher, yes, certainly I've worked on a lot of those. That's where I started basically. Need to find an engine cover shroud. Okay. Gotta imagine those are still available, right? Got about 500 board feet of cherry drying. Pretty. Very nice. See, I can cut all that. A lot of the you know the stuff with my sawmill is that I can cut it, I can store it. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to sell it to somebody? I don't have a great source of just random people showing up and you know looking for stuff. I just don't. You have to be able to offload it, or you have to have a specific use for it. And the thing about wood often is that you have a specific use now. You know, if you need a floor or something done, then you have okay. You need it now, imminently, right now. And you know, if you don't got it now, too bad. So if you get it cut, you got to wait a year or two for it to dry. You can't just slap it down on the floor. It doesn't work like that. Even if you had all the woodworking equipment, which I definitely don't. I don't have a joiner. I have a planer, but I don't have a joiner. So, for me, I cut stuff for an intended use down the road, but a lot of the hardwoods I've cut, I've had nothing to do. What am I going to do with it? Am I going in any get-togethers? Yes. As of right now, I am planning on attending the Connecticut get-together, which is in May. I think April, May. I don't remember. It's on OPE forum under the get-together section. Dan is putting it on, and kind of per usual. And I'm definitely intending on going. I don't know what I'm going to bring. Do I have anything that's new and exciting? Not really. I have my usual stuff, I guess. If I still have stuff for sale by then, I can bring that sort of stuff. But, I show up there with my tools and I wrench on things if need be, I guess. I'll take any extra cherry logs you happen to come across. No hybrid. If you're gonna get it from me, you're gonna get boards. They might be really weird too. Who knows? Promise the wife maker china cabinet out of the cherry. Very nice. Hey Craig. So James, I mean, if you have the woodworking equipment, the skill, the know-how, all that stuff, great. I'm not a good woodworker. I just have come to that conclusion. I'm just not that good. I definitely don't have the equipment for it. You need to have a nice joiner, nicely set up planer, a good sized table saw, that's straight, all that stuff in order to do, and preferably a shaper, if you're doing inlays or whatever, some type of a shaper or whatever would be really nice, but I don't have any of that. So, I'm just not, it's not me. Cherry does make good firewood. Rather not use cherry for firewood, but it does make good firewood. Have you ever cut finger ports? No. I've never found like the ambition to do finger ports. Ideally, you need to have the better porting tools in order to do that because there's a significant amount of grinding. But I've never really gotten that level of ambition. We need a collaboration video. Barry. I would love to get out to Walters. I never have. I would love to go out and meet Walt. I've met him and of course Bob, but I would love to go out to Walt's and do a chainsaw get together. That I think that would be a huge amount of fun, and but it's a 6 hour drive at least for me to get out to Walt's. So, it just is it going to happen? Probably not. Working equipment is wicked expensive. Most of them make up for lack of skills. Yeah, that's a good point. Gavin, what does it say here about an MS362 with a 440 crank stroke saw? How does that work? I don't know. Gavin, I actually did. My lazy boy. 394 saw college. And there's Brandon. Who else showed up? Brandon Viles is up. Hey, 22 people here just hanging out. Let's go back to the 362. So I actually did a 440 top end for a 360 bottom end. All that I did was I think I cut the crankcase, I cut the base of the cylinder on the Bridgeport, and a few other modifications for that. And there's a guy on OPE, Jeremy, and I don't know what his handle was, that has it right now, and he did the rest of the build. But I told him, he actually got it running. I ran it, and it felt like a 360 that had the power of a 440, the type of thing. Ran good. It was a lot of work. The throttle linkage was considerable to adjust that. So, I mean, there's a lot of work involved. $394 saw college, yes, for sure. Oh, sure. Brandon Viles is here. You inherited all my woodworking equipment. And the thing about woodworking equipment is it lasts. You get the good stuff. It lasts for a really long time, which is really good. Tim Freeman's here. Tim, we haven't seen you in forever. Are you okay? Everything good? Tim, I have not seen you in a bit, buddy. You talking about Walt that does? Yes, Walt that does Hilltop Saw Shop. Yes, that's Walt. Barry Reynolds. How was the pool on Craig? Just chilling. Dude West. Walter is awesome. Didn't know you had a Bridgeport. Yes. Well, I don't have one here. One of my parents that I have access to. And the nice thing about Bridgeports is you can pick them up cheap because they're just being sold surplus these days. Most people just use them for hobby stuff instead. I mean, nobody uses them for production anymore. Internet went down. Ooh, sorry. Everything down? Okay there in Georgia though? Everything's good? Ugh. Long day tomorrow, but it's the last day of the week for me, so gotta push through it. But I'm feeling better. Finally, yeah, I'm not feeling awesome, but I'm definitely feeling better. At least I'm not plugged. That's like being lost ones. Yeah, just raining. Okay, good. It's funny. It's raining here too. We had snow. Now it's mostly gone, like 90-95% gone. There's just some piles of it left here and there. Um, it was like 60 yesterday. It was nice and warm. It was beautiful. Of course, I was working. Uh, Today it was okay. Nice day. Not nearly as warm, but it was a nice day. And I think Friday's supposed to be okay too. And since I have Friday off, that'll be good. Yesterday was awesome. Yeah, it was very nice. I'm sure I didn't get to go out in it. All right, so let's see. We have 17 people here. Just so everybody knows, let's see status overall. I have two 394s for sale. One of them is definitely ready to go. The other I still need to put through three heat cycles. Just haven't done it yet. So two 394s for sale. Um, they are 700 each plus shipping. If anybody's interested, I do have some T-shirts. hanging around. They're the As Is t-shirts, which are this. My logo on the front. And of the t-shirts, this is definitely the expensive part is the logo. With As Is on the back. These are $20 plus shipping. I usually throw them in a priority envelope, so it's like $8 to ship it. The price just went up for shipping. I have a few sizes in that. I got it, but I got to sell those before I reorder the t-shirts. I'm not making any money off of those. Those are basically cost. And for the record, $3.94 are pretty much cost too. So it's what it cost me to put them together. It's probably about $700. So if anybody needs a $3.94, let me know. What else? Tools. If anybody needs tools, I do have stock right now on the tools. So let me know. $3.94 air horns, hopefully coming soon. If Eric Briggs and his buddies come through, that would be awesome. 70s here in Tennessee and 70 in Georgia, 40s in Oklahoma. Yeah, it's probably what it was today, Brandon. I don't remember exactly what it showed up for temperature, but probably about the same here. So if anybody needs anything, let me know. Oh shucks, I forgot to bring that stuff down to. Okay. Whatever. Thinking what else is going on. I literally have that $3.94 to put together, and I'm waiting for the air horn. The other thing I am intending on putting together, or intending on having machines so that we have access to it, are the $3.94 air horn inserts, the metal inserts that go in there. I know that those are basically unobtaining them at this point, and I don't see any reason why I can't have them manufactured by the thousand. So I'm going to see if I can aim on doing that, but I need some free time to kind of draw it for my machinist. An ex-wife for sale. What does she look like? Take over payments. Oh God, Larry, I don't got a 372 project for you, buddy. I would 372 projects are far. I mean, it's hard to find. They really are hard to find. Because everybody's looking for them. You know. One of my guy up in Vermont. He does them like a dozen at a time. He'll do like a dozen 372 projects. He doesn't sell 372 parts because he just builds them himself, you know. He sells parts, a lot of parts otherwise, but he doesn't sell 372 parts because he's building them all the time. He loves to build them. See, and I'm also not so sure that ultimately, I mean, you have to get the saw basically for free. I mean, if it looks like it's been dragged behind a truck, it's going to take a lot of money to get it back up solid, you know. You got to be careful how much money you spend on these things. You can see, you know, I spent on those 394s. I'm probably into those for $700 a shot. Plus, I spent all the time to put it back together, plus all the port work, all that jazz. So, all that going on. You can end up in a hole in a hurry, so be careful. Same advice applies to women. Right. Wives. Whatever. Anyway. There are 19 people here hanging out. That's cool. That's really cool, guys. Just so everybody knows, I really appreciate the support. I know I don't have a whole lot of content right now that I can provide you guys with, other than just some randomness. I've got, I don't have, I just don't have a whole lot going. I'm working more, which is great. I'm finally making money, great, but it means that I don't have a whole lot in the way of content. I will tell you this: I went out today and I saw the sawmill wasn't under the snow anymore. That was nice to see. Does your wife give you grief over your saw habit? Are you talking to me, Larry? Thanks, James. And yes, Craig, I'm Short Round from Temple of Doom. Indy, you listen to me, you live longer, right? Yeah, I have a 394 like that too. It's sitting on a shelf in my shed. It's fun to run, but I don't need to run it much. I can run my junky one. So yeah, does my wife give me grief over the saws? No, not specifically. In general, it's not. I don't ever get. I really don't ever get the eye roll. Like, oh my god, another saw is coming in the house. I don't really get that from her. It's more like, maybe your time could be spent better doing something else, that type of thing. But it's not so much like, oh my god, you brought another saw into the house. So if that helps. Why not buy the China made 372 and modify? Um, Tim, it's probably not a bad idea. I don't think the crankcase is bad on that saw. You could probably even get away with the Chinese bearings for a while. I would rip out the seals. I'm not a big fan of those. But you can modify the tank. The only issue with the tank, the gas tank, is that the vent. A lot of the other parts on there you can modify to be better. Get an original head. That would be good. Um, Even the Chinese crank tends to last a while. I would definitely change out the piston pin bearing. If you're gonna run that saw, maybe get a Meteor piston and OEM pin bearing. That would be an important upgrade, I think. The coil plus minus, sometimes the coils can be okay. They might not be. An OEM coil would be kind of nice. Um, OEM, boot clamp. Uh, if you can find it, an OEM carburetor too. Sometimes the aftermarket ones run fine. Sometimes not. Meant when you're planning on having another get together with chainsaws. Still not quite sure what you're saying, Dude West. 26 people here. Okay. 26 people here. Sorry. Who gives who grief over get-togethers? I don't know. Give it to me again. Give me the whole question. Tools. How about seal drivers? No, I don't have seal drivers. I'm pretty sure those exist as Husqvarna tools, so I don't generally. I'm just not thinking about building a whole pile of seal drivers. I don't think that I could build them in a cost effective manner. Um, And I also, for my own personal use, unless you're a shop and you're just jamming seals in all the time, I spend the extra couple minutes on it and tap them into the right spot and all by hand, and I've not had an issue like that. So it'd be nice to have seal drivers, and I've tried to make a few and do this and that, but in general, I just don't need it. Um, the only seal driver that I have made and would consider making again if somebody's interested, or figuring out how to make them in bulk, are the 200T seal drivers. Um, Again, if you're building a lot of 200Ts, you're probably going to want the OEM tool. But I can make a 200T seal driver for fairly inexpensive. But how many are a lot of guys aren't doing tons and tons of 200Ts. You're doing one or two. There's also other options for 200T seals, not necessarily the OEM seals. So the OEM seals crack and break for sure if you hit them with a hammer. It's like a guarantee. And there goes $8 a shot. So it's a whole lot easier to make the seal driver, which I've made. I've shown it in videos. Nobody, not one person has said, "Can you make that for me?" Not one person. So I have no impetus to make that in bulk. But that is a more or less necessary seal driver if you're driving OEM seals in 200Ts. But the rest of the seals that I do, 372s, you know, uh, 394s, I don't need seal drivers because you just tap them in with a socket, make sure they're where they need to be. That's it. Those kits are cheap. By the time you're buying all those aluminum pellets, you're not saving money, so you're better off buying the real Husky. Yeah, Larry, maybe. I think on the 372 it's kind of debatable. On the 660, I think it makes sense to buy the Chinese kit. The 372 is kind of and probably the 200T almost for sure not. You're probably better off getting a used piece, and going from there. There, I have one of those kits, a little over 2 years old now, still going with all the parts supplied, box straight from China. And then there are stories like that. So back to Dude West Point. I don't have get-togethers here for chainsaws. I mean, other than like two people. Um, if one of my tree guys shows up or whatever, we hang out and play with saws. But in general, I'm not having get-togethers here, so my wife doesn't give me grief about that. Um, Also, compared to a lot of stuff, really compared to a lot of stuff, chainsaws are just such a minimal investment. Even if you have 10 of them, even if you bought them brand new at $700 a piece, what's that, 7 grand? If you had 10, that's 7 grand. Compared to a car, it's nothing, you know? Um, for a lot of guys, for whatever reason, like you have two chainsaws, and I got to imagine that a lot of wives are like, but it's just not, having 10 is just not a big deal. In the grand scheme of everything that is expensive, it's just not. Uh, People spend a whole lot more money than that on all kinds of other hobbies. So saws are not something that necessarily is, one of the, worth giving grief over, or getting grief over. Frankly, it's just not. It's too minimal of a thing. There are plenty of other things that a lot of people do that are very expensive, and you just waste piles of money. Chainsaws, at least at the end of the day, you got something to show for it. How about the 360? The 360 kit, I didn't really like. I did not like the 360 kit. I think the 660 kit is best bang for buck. 360 kit, really not sure. If you want to do it, fine. If that's your thing. The 440 was kind of eh. As far as a kit goes, the 660 was good bang for buck, in my opinion. Pentecost just had a 440 powder coat. It looks like new. It cost me 200. Yeah, it cost $200 just to have the powder coat done, right? So back and forth with the shipping, everything, it gets pricey, right? On sale for Armortech for $108. You know, Brandon, it's up to you, buddy. I cut 100 cords of wood last year. Yeah, Larry's serious. Just so everybody knows around here, Larry's serious. If one saw goes down, you have the second one. Yes, Brandon. Yes, for sure. Craig only cuts 5 to 8 cords a year. I don't know how much I cut. It varies. How much do you cut it to get together? You know. Chris Meyer. I haven't seen you around. Welcome to the channel. Built a 440 with the help of your videos. Everything in for the box. Still tinkering with the carb. Might go OEM on that. Thank you, Jason. Chris Meyer, are you Chris or are you Jason? Built a 440. Still tinkering with the carb. Yeah, you know, if sometimes the OEM carburetors are the way to go. You know, these aftermarket carbs are really plus minus. Some run fine, others don't. And differentiating between if it's the carb or the coil or there's an air leak, sometimes it's kind of hard. So it's nice if you have a brand new OEM carb you can just throw at it and see what's up, you know. Yeah, good questions tonight, good comments. Yes, you're right, James. Just so everybody knows, again, I've got a couple of 394s for sale. This is the infomercial part. If anybody wants t-shirts, I have the as-is t-shirts. I only have a few of these. It's my logo. That's the expensive part. But this is why they're as-is t-shirts. They are $20 a shot. And if anybody wants one, they can just let me know. Chris, autocorrect. Okay. Welcome to the channel, buddy. 100 cores, my back hurts reading that. Been cutting and selling firewood since I was 15. Wow, okay. And dude West, you're what, 16 now? Yeah, like myself, 8,000 forklift, 5,000 tractor, 6,500 tractor, wood shop tools, 20,000. Right, Bob, you spent all kinds of money on all kinds of other stuff. You know, a couple of chainsaws is not worth grief from either end. Rebuilt my 359 3 times in 8 years cutting firewood. Wow. Chris Meyer. Very cool. Welcome. I put an aftermarket carburetor on my 026, runs like a champ. Nice. You know, some of the aftermarket carbs run great. They really do. Others, I've had aftermarket carbs run just fine. I've had aftermarket carbs that I could not get to run for beans. It's the dual idle stuff that just drives me crazy. It'll go low, it'll go high, it'll go low, just sitting there. You say, what the heck? You should just idle straight. You know, give me an idle. Blah, 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 blah. No, just stupid. But aftermarket carburetor, yep, okay. So, let's see, what else? 394s for sale, 2 of them. What else? 394 air horns, hopefully coming soon. I don't know if Eric Briggs came on. Eric, are you on? Um, Hopefully Eric will be getting that in a day or two or whatever. What else? I have tools in stock if anybody's interested in crank tools. If anybody here is new, Chris Myers in particular, if you're new, check out my other videos on my tools for assembling chainsaws. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. They are really cool, and I basically guarantee that you're gonna giggle if you use them for the first time. If you've been putting chainsaws together with hot and cold over the years, and if you're even a little bit frustrated with that, this makes things a whole lot easier. What else? I need to clean up the shop here. I'm almost done. Almost done. Getting these saws. Almost done. Gonna get these saws out of my basement, and I'm gonna move on to something else in my life. Uh, we'll still do chainsaws, but I'm just not gonna be taking on new work. It's consumed too much of my life. James, you take care and have a good surgery tomorrow, okay, buddy? I'll say a prayer for you. I will, okay? I hope everything goes nice and smooth. Um, First stage to healing, gotta have that surgery. So I hope it goes well, buddy. Terry, hello. Does Husqvarna make pop-up pistons or are they aftermarket? Um, no, Husky, as far as I know, does not make pop-up pistons. At least, like, not for a 372. What they have done in the past, for instance, like the Husqvarna 350, they have made dished pistons intentionally to detune saws, but they do not make pop-ups. Some pop-ups are available aftermarket. For the most part, people machine them themselves in order to get more compression. At least you can machine a pop-up. It is a way to get more compression. It is not the only way to get compression. So for the most part, you have to measure squish yourself and measure all kinds of other stuff and figure out if you have room to cut a pop up or whatever. Um, if you're cutting a pop up, remember you're going to increase squish. So if your squish was 40 thousandths stock and you cut a 40 thousandths pop up, now your squish is 80 thousandths. Well, if you want to bring that down to 20, then you have to remove 60 thousandths from the base of the cylinder, or you have to remove 60 thousandths from the case. Whatever you're doing, you have to get rid of 60 thousandths. So, just rough numbers, of course. But just keep that in mind if you're cutting pop-ups. What else? Don't think I had anything else to mention. I'm pretty good on tools here, which is good. I've had a couple of emails. We still have a few people here. Nice toolbox. Yeah, thanks. This actually I picked up at a pawn shop for $200, but I have an identical one out in the shed, but it's missing the top cabinet. So now Harbor Freight is actually selling just the top cabinet, so I can go and pick that up. Um, I want to tell you a story for this morning. For those people that missed it, I got an email today, and I forget who it was from. Forgive me for forgetting, but somebody emailed me this morning with asking about the tools, and the question was, "Hey Matt, I'd like to buy your tools. Can you explain to me what they do?" I'm paraphrasing, of course, but I just thought that was so funny. And I was there at work, and I happened to get the email, and I thought, man, somebody just wants to buy the tools and doesn't even know what they do. I think that's awesome. So I've had that before too. People just, they want tools. I mean, I think that's awesome. I really do. I like to buy stuff. I like to go on the internet and buy things, randomly. So for people that just want tools, that's awesome. I've got them. Actually, Edwin, I've done a tour before, of what's in the box. Uh, Somebody asked a while ago. Good night, Larry. You take care, okay? Be safe out there. Let me know when you get the package. Um, I've done a tour. And somebody asked. It might have been Larry. Somebody asked what my favorite tool was. Um, and so I ended up, going through the toolbox and showing people what I've got. So that's in the video somewhere. I still have to say, I'm pretty sure my pat answer, well, my favorite tool was a torque wrench. My torque wrenches, it made me my favorite class of tool was my torque wrenches. But there are some others in here which I really like and appreciate. Um, and I've been collecting for at least a little while. But I'm trying to collect stuff that I can use, um, doesn't clog things up, with just random tools. I actually use these, all the time. We're down to 13 people. We were up to like 22. I'm waiting for Adirondacks to show up and give me an update. Anyway, you know what? It's near on 9 o'clock, so I better go. It's time to put the kids to bed and all that stuff. Um, but I better go. So, anybody have anything else? Start projects just to buy tools. Do the clutch removal tool most Huskies? No, you have to have the specific ones. So, and I just make them. You just get an old socket, go down to the pawn shop and buy a bunch of sockets, something that'll fit, and grind it with your grinder. If you don't have a grinder, go down and get one. But you can, Dremel tool, angle grinder, whatever, grind the tool so it fits in the clutch, and then hit it with the impact. You're good. Just start project to buy tools. I love it, Edwin. I love it. Having a solid collection of tools, I think, is important. Having piles of useless tools is no good. I just nice solid collection of usable tools, very nice. I know. Don't worry, Brandon. I'm not gonna have too much fun at work tomorrow. 8 to 7, long day. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I'll say goodnight. It was great talking with you, everybody. I don't know when I'm gonna come on next, but I love hanging out with you guys, and this is a great almost like it's like a mini forum, for asking questions and that sort of stuff, and I really enjoy hanging out with you guys. So I just want to let everybody know that. Thanks for hanging out. Tim, Craig, Brandon, Edwin, Terry, Larry, everybody. It's great seeing you. Tim, especially. Thank you so much for joining, and we've missed you around here, buddy. Take care. Be safe, everybody.